Mom Playing Tricks on Me. It was a great presentation. Mom Playing Tricks on Me is so dope that you can't even put it in the category of it's a gangster rap record. It's just a good-ass rap record. I think it was Talib or Mos Def or somebody, it might have been Q-Tip, who got disappointed. I ain't no motherfucking backpack rapper. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no calm. I made a song about society. You know what I'm saying? When we start labeling and compartmentalizing this hip-hop just so that we can have an excuse to be weak, fake, corny, and not worth a dime of the participation that you're allowed to get in hip-hop, that's when I got a problem with it. We make excuses and we try to, what's that word, rationalize. You know, in my generation, 99% of the records that's out, Rick Rubin and Russell would say, get this shit out of my office and come back with a real record. What? That's just how it is now. What could we do about that? You got to do just like the rock dudes. Just get up on stage and play.
Yeah, you're right. And we noticed too in other genres, the artists always paid homage. You notice that in rap and hip hop, it's not like that. And a lot of these young guys, they're not even getting on Google. They're just straight stealing styles. Like there was this rapper Chance. He came out with an album called Acid Rap. Esham out of Detroit created that in 1989. You know what I'm saying? And it was on wax. It's embedded in history. These guys need to at least get on fucking Google.
Well, you know, the whole thing is like one thing, like when you say about the other genre, it's like it's one thing to say, you know, I love Rakim, I'm influenced Rakim. If you're hot now, you got the power to put those dudes who influence you on the road with you. Like, for instance, you know, if you see the Foo Fighters will put ZZ Top on the road with them. They ain't got no, you know, and it's all about ego. I remember Run DMC, we did shows with Biggie and Pac. Both of these guys, at the height of their careers, refused to headline out of respect for us. Me, Run, and Jay had to literally sit Biggie and Pac down and say, yo, that's very, wow, that's humble. But yo, Pac, yo, Big, that's your audience out there. And Big was like, well, the only reason I'm going to headline the show is because y'all told me to. Same thing with Pac. Pac was like, there's no way, no, do you know that? And Big and Pac was like, I want my audience to see where this comes from. You know, none of that, I wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? That's powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The rock dudes do that. It's like, you know, if Wynton Marsalis and Branford is sitting there in the chair and if Miles Davis was alive, he walked in the room, they going to get up and say, yo, Miles, you take this seat. You take over the interview. You know what I'm saying?
Out of respect.
If David Grohl is doing an interview on rock radio during prime time and, oh, shoot, Bob Dylan or John, Tom Petty or Bruce Springsteen walk by, the radio station, stop the music. Go get him. And when he comes in the room, Grohl's going to say, yo, Tom, yo, take the seat. And they're going to sit there and talk together. If I walk by any rap station right now and it's on prime time, the 6 to 10 o'clock hour, and they're interviewing the hot guy right now, and I walk by, you know how the radio stations have the window and they're in the control room.
Yeah.
And just go, DMC just walk by. He's a legend. They'll keep going. As opposed to saying, yo, hold up, yo, go get D, bring him in here. And then sit me down with this new generation so we can talk, you know what I'm saying? When you look at rock, when you look at jazz, when you look at blues, when you look at all other forms of music, those guys collectively sit together. And my joke to the young people is they don't want to put me, Kane, and KRS-One, and Chuck, and LL on the shows with them because they know we're going to bust their ass. And yeah, I said it, and I will.
Yeah. Real talk. That's real talk. We just had Chuck on the show a couple weeks ago. Hell of a guy right there. Here you are, man. You're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Straight out of Compton. Straight out of Compton. Did phenomenal at the box office. I asked Chuck about a PE movie. What about a Run DMC movie? I think people would love to see that.
Chuck said no. He wants y'all to get the information from the media and stuff that's out there already, right?
Yeah, Chuck. Exactly. That's exactly what he said.
I know what Chuck said, and Scarface asked Scarface that too, and Scarface said what I said when they asked me about that because of the success of it. Scarface said you can't now because it'll be biting. Hip hop is about being original. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for Run DMC. The it's a little different. You don't need to know the Run DMC story because you know it already. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, Chuck, I want you to go back and, go see me at Live Aid. Go see that. There's 2 books out on us. There's a Behind the Music. Crush Groove, which was a fictional movie, is semi-autobiographical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't need to. First of all, and second of all, I don't want to do. You know what you could do though? You don't need a Run DMC movie for 2 reasons. I ain't finished yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because NWA's done. I'm not, as an artist, I'm not finished yet, but instead of doing a Run DMC movie, do the Jam Master Jay movie.
There you go.
Thing to do. Tell his story.
That's what I wanted him to do. I wanted him to do an Eazy-E movie. I think a Jam Master Jay movie would be phenomenal.
Which would be phenomenal, because secondly, Run, he's a reverend now. DMC's the king of rock now. I'm a superhero comic book guy. My story's still ongoing. Let's tell the Jay story, because the Run DMC thing ended with Jay. But let's tell the people, through Jay, you could tell the people what they don't know. You know the whole story. Run's Russell's brother, and then Run found that DMC could kick around, so he put me on. We did Suck and Seeds, we did Rock Box King of Rock, then we did Walk This Way and just changed the whole game. Y'all know what Adidas did. You know what I'm saying? However, continue to tell that story for eternity in interviews. But you don't know the story of Jam Master Jason Mizell, who, after Run and D made the records, we needed a DJ. So what the hell was Jay doing while me and Run was running around making the records? What did Jay think after Run and D said, you're in my group? What did he go home and tell his mother and father? That's what needs to be told. My story basically is on my records. Christmas time, that was my mother in the video. My whole life, Christmas in Hollis for me wasn't just on Christmas. Every day of the week, my mother had a 6-course meal for me. Every day of the week, every school that I went to, my mother paid for. I went to Catholic school my whole life, you know what I'm saying? So DMC was this nerdy little kid that read comic books. Run was Russell's brother. Tell the Jay story, because that's the story that needs to be told. You don't need to tell my story, because my story ain't finished yet. That would be cool, but that being said, I like what Scarface said. He said that's blatant. Now all of a sudden you want to do all these rap movies because NWA's was so successful. No, let's let NWA's marinate for the next 20 years before you tell another story. It's a shame they couldn't get the Tupac movie made before this, but NWA's story is a good story. But even my son said, the NWA movie was cool, but they made it seem like MC Yella and Ren was just there. So my son was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, Ren was a huge
NWA story.
Yeah, so was Yella, yeah.
My son said that. My son is 21 years old. He said, Daddy, I went there and I know. And everyone was like, I don't want to go see it because I know Ice Cube. I know these guys. I was there, you know what I'm saying? I was running around trying to be the king of rock while Treyana was running around being NWA. So I can't go see a movie about guys that I know are still alive. That's, I could go see a Jimi Hendrix movie, this and that, because it's inquisitive. But just for my son to say that, I'm like, damn, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? My son really wants to know now, who the fuck is Ren? Who the fuck is Yella? And he said, my son said it seemed like the movie, and it was more about Easy, Dre, and Cube. He said, my son said it seemed like Ren and Yella was just there. I want to know more about those guys. So what Ren needs to do is go make a documentary about himself. You know what I'm saying? They treated him like he was that's just like doing a Run DMC movie and making it all about Run because he's Russell's brother, not addressing me and Jay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At this point now, you could come and find out, like me doing this interview is very informative. You had 6 seasons of Run's house with his family. His story's still ongoing. Let's do the JMJ story. That would be real powerful.
I agree with you, man. I think that would be. It would have a lot of a lot of good impact.
That was a great movie, right? And it serves a great purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
The adult biopic though, from this end, because you did the NWA story. And Dre's iconic, so he's in there. Ice Cube is amazing. Eazy's amazing. My son said, I wish I knew a little more about Ren and Yella. But if you're going to come East Coast, they did the Biggie movie. I think the Biggie movie could have been done way better, too. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't one of those movies where people are still talking about it like when Joaquin Phoenix played Johnny Cash in that movie that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was a dope flick.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx as Ray Charles. Phenomenal, because it told you stuff that you didn't know. I think the Biggie movie could have been done a little better, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, all right, if you're going to do a biopic, you don't need to do Run. You don't need to do PE. What I think you should do a biopic on is KRS-One and Scott LaRock. When Scott LaRock got killed, and that just turned KRS-One into knowing he had to become a teacher, you know what I'm saying? And this is, and the KRS story's good. Well, the PE would be good too, but what's good about KRS-One is it's like he's so iconic, but a lot of people really don't know nothing about him. You know what I'm saying? They just know he's one of the dopest lyricists ever in the game, but they don't know his story. Sleeping in the shelter, his best friend got killed. For me, and I know KRS-One, but I want to know. You know, he told me, yo, D, you know what I'm saying? He said, you're adopted, you're a foster kid. He said, yo, I was homeless. And for a guy to come up in this hip-hop music to take it from being homeless, sleeping in a shelter, having one of the counselors at the shelter, Scott LaRock, see something in him, he goes from homelessness to being one of the greatest MC gods ever, but, you know, he's a guy that could go to Yale and get paid thousands of dollars to give a lecture on hip-hop. That's something I would go see about somebody who's still alive, you know what I'm saying? And chronically, I think a lot of these movies need to be done chronologically in order, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's do the Cool Herc story. Just doing a Cool Herc story is like seeing the Muddy Water story or something, you know what I'm saying? Because these guys have no footage. These guys only got the recorded cassette tapes of their existence. Let's tell the Cool Herc story and how Herc and... Let's tell the story of how Africa Bambaataa took one of the biggest street gangs in New York City from negative to positive to turn it to Zulu Nation. So before you tell my story, there's a lot of other stories that I think must be told before you get the okay to do my story. And that being said, before me, do Jay.
See, and that's one of the things I always respect about you, D. You're a very humble individual, and you always you put others before yourself. And I do agree with you. I think that Jay story should be told, definitely.
Yep. So that's what I'm gonna tell I'm gonna tell his wife and his sons. That's the story that DMC will endorse.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Now, you're talking about comic books now. You're a comic book hero.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about that, D.
Oh, well, before hip-hop came over the bridge and changed my life, you know, before Cold Crush and Grand Wizard Theodore and the Fantastic Five and the Treacherous 3 and the Funky 4+1 and the Furious 5 changed my life, my whole existence was comic books. That was my whole world. It was Marvel comic books, because the thing that was cool about Marvel comic books was, here's a kid living in suburban Queens, New York, and Marvel, the superheroes really were in New York. Peter Parker lived in Queens. The Avengers Mansion was in Manhattan. You know, I saw Fifth Avenue. I saw Park Avenue. I saw the World Trade Center. I saw Times Square. I saw the Empire State Building. I saw the Lower East Side. I saw the Barrio. I saw Harlem. All of that was given to me in this world of comic books. That being said, comic books was a release for me, you know, being a young kid, going through the trials and tribulations of growing up, you know, getting bullied, getting picked on, got to worry about the gang, you know, taking your lunch money and taking your sneakers. Just, you know, the whole perfect world for me was these comic books. And then hip-hop comes over the bridge, you know, musically, artistically, lyrically, fashion changes my life. And, you know, when I started writing my rhymes, all my confidence came from the inspiration and education that I was getting in the comic books. And about 2 years ago, I went up to Atlantic Records to have a meeting with Riggs Morales, who's an executive up at Atlantic Records, and, you know, he's going to have this music meeting or whatever. And I walked in there, and Riggs Morales, he was with Shady Records, you know what I'm saying? He was with Eminem as they went out and conquered the world over the last couple of years. And, you know, we sit down for the music meeting, and he just said, yo, D, before I get into, you know, I'm usually really very professional, but I got to fan out right now. You know, DMC, you know, was like your guys were like my superheroes. And he just asked me, what was it like when you were a kid? And I told him the same thing I told y'all. Yo, I was a little kid and I love comic books. And when I say comic books, we stood there for the meeting turned from music to 2 hours of talking about comic books. And he was like, you ever think about doing a comic book? And I was like, nah, I never thought about it. I don't want to be another rapper just because I was successful in music trying to do something. You know, I want to stay in my lane. He was like, yo, I respect that, whatever. But he was like, yo, D, you should do this comic book. But he said, yo, don't do it as DMC the rapper. I hear you. I respect that. He said, do it as Daryl McDaniels, a little kid that his first love in his whole creative as a creative entity was comic books. And we decided to do the comic books because I could use the comic book to do everything that I did musically. You know what I'm saying? Ideas, concepts, images, issues, anything that I want to talk about, I could do in this comic book. You know what I'm saying? The style is artistic, it's visual. It's also something that people, not just young people, but older people could hold in their hand. We placed it in the 80s-like universe because the 1980s was one of the most visually, artistic, literally creative eras on the face of the planet. You had punk rock. You had hip-hop, you had the Ramones, you had Lou Reed, you had the Beastie Boys, you had Madonna. Even Debbie Harry made a rap song praising Grandmaster Flash. The Bronx and Harlem was coming downtown to the Village. If you would have walked into a club in Soho or in the Village, you know what I'm saying, you see Run DMC up in there, Fab Five Freddy, Kool Moe Dee, Africa Bambaataa. You see Joey Ramone sitting over there, Lou Reed. You see Keith Aaron. You see Basquiat. You see the artists, the writers, the journalists, and the educators all in this place. That was representative of hip-hop. And even though it was effed up socially, economically it was effed up, but because of hip-hop and music and punk rock and rock and roll and folk rock, there was something that we was able to present to the world to say that we could be worth something. So I was like, I'm going to take everything that I did with music, because the reason why I was such a good MC, comic books, because I was reading and using my imagination, enabled me to be a great writer. Now people are going back when I say, yo, before hip-hop it was comic books. Comic books gave me my confidence and my inspiration. Now people is going back and saying, yo, I could understand why King of Rock was so dope. Crash through walls, come through floors, bust through ceilings and knock down doors. Those are things superheroes do. I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. It's the same thing. I am Thor, son of Odin, son of Bifrost, brother of Al. Banner's my mother. All of that is the gift and inspiration, the patterns, the blueprint of how to write stories and how to write. All my rhymes were basically comic book issues. People say, yo, DMC, now I'm really, really believing that you could cut the head off the devil. You know, I cut the head off the devil and I throw it at you. Yeah. So when you look at Marvel comic books, it was always description and then title. The Amazing Spider-Man, The Incredible Hulk, The Invincible Iron Man. When Run put me in a group, I became the microphone master, DMC. Then in the next issue, I'll be the devastating mic controller, DMC. Oh, man, in this issue, I'll be the son of Bifrost. So everything given to me creatively went into the comic book. So when Riggs said, yo, we're going to put this comic together, he introduced me to his partner, Edgardo Miranda Rodriguez, who was a b-boy from the Bronx. Who was like, yo, Run DMC was like my superheroes, and breakdancing, graffiti, our style, our fashion, everything that I represented and was able to live out in this universe as Daryl McDaniels. In the comic book universe, it's the same Daryl McDaniels, except in the comic book, I really have superpowers. In this universe, in this world, my superpowers is rock and roll and hip-hop. But it's still, in a comic book, it's still Daryl McDaniels, the kid from Queens. I grew up to be a teacher. I'm teaching the kids in the inner city schools because I love education. But I'm the superhero running around fighting all the bad guys.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
And issue 2, issue 1 came out last year at Comic-Con. Issue 2, we're going to release this year at the New York City Comic-Con.
Well, you'll have to check that out.
We hope, with the comic, we hope to do, everything that Superman did and Batman did and Spider-Man and everything the Avengers is doing right now. 50 years from now, the DMC universe, and then one thing about the comic is DMC isn't the only superhero. DMC is just the first superhero introduced to you in this DMC universe. So there's going to be other superheroes, other villains. You know, by issue number 25, you might not even like me no more. You might like the new superhero. You might like the new villain.
Right.
Hip-hop always seems to end with the record or the clothing company or the liquor company. We need something that our grandchildren's grandchildren can say, yo, this is what my great-great-great-great-grandfather did with hip-hop when they came along. I don't want my hip-hop to be defined by how good a rhyme an individual can spit. I want hip-hop to be defined by, wow, he's a great journalist. He's a great writer. He's a great director. He's a great edge. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop is so much bigger. Hip-hop has now got condensed to the point where corporate America just condensed us to only being, hip-hop only creates rappers. No, it doesn't. Hip-hop didn't just create rappers. It created producers and directors and writers and journalists and designers, you know, and astronauts, and the list goes on and on. Since that is missing, and the destination of the business of hip-hop isn't that anymore. It's about everything else except educating, inspiring, motivating, and uplifting people to expose them to all the possibilities and opportunities that exist in the world. I could get on the radio and do all these interviews I want. I got to add more to my arsenal. I got the music thing locked for eternity. I'm going to do it visually and literally with the comic book. And then my next thing, as opposed to jumping on the movie bandwagon, in the last 2 years, I'm about 35-40% into the development of doing my life story on Broadway as a Broadway play.
Wow.
But it's not the... I'm going to say that'd be dope, too.
Hell yeah.
That's original. I haven't heard of that before.
Something different. It's not the DMC story. It's the Darryl McDaniel story. The little boy who became king. It's the idea behind this story.
Wow.
You know, I want people to come to see it and be sitting there and go, oh shit, this is the DMC story. Oh, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be about me rapping. It's going to be about me being a little kid. It's going to be about me being adopted. It's going to be about my birth mother having it. If my birth mother never gave me up, forget about me having this conversation. The DMC wouldn't exist. I don't know where I would be if my birth mother, and the whole thing is powerful, is what if my birth mother decided to abort me? So I want to do something on Broadway that's way, way, way more interesting than just how good a rapper I am.
I remember when I was a little kid, I had to go out and get a hat like you, right? I couldn't find one anywhere. We went to Walmart, and I got this hat I thought was like you. I get home, the fucking thing looks more like something Freddy Krueger wore.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people went through that because it was so hard to find the Stetson hats that we wore. The Stetson velour, I know what you mean. Everybody went through that, man.
Yeah, man.
You gotta go to like a hat. You gotta go to like a hat store that you gotta go to like a hat store that the guys from London and Europe would go. You remember when you look at the 1930 or 40 detectives,
like the Sherlock Holmes shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dick Tracy, the long trench coats. I'm looking at all these movies. If you go onto the Classic Movie Channel, Humphrey Bogart and the War to Run DMC hats. So that's the brand. It's two brands. It's Stetson and it's Barcelona, and the other one is Stellantino, I believe. But yeah, I feel for you because they were real hard to find. When we was growing up, it was easy to find because on Jamaica Avenue in Queens, New York, there was a place called Revel Knox where all the pimps and the pushers would go to get their, their gaiters and all the, all the silk shirts and the gabardine pants and all of that. There was one store that always had the Stetsons for us. And the funny thing about those hats is, me and Run didn't start wearing them until we was in the group. DJ Hurricane from the Beastie Boys and Jay and Hurricane used to dress like Run DMC used to dress in 9th grade. They used to go to high school looking like that. Right.
See, that's history right there, folks.
Yeah, Jay was our style, and Jay was because me and Run was yin and yang. So Jay was our style. He was the band, but he also was the connecting entity that made this Run DMC thing work. Now, Jay, before we put Jay in the group, me and Rum, our wardrobe was all over the place. I used to wear Pumas. In the early years, there's probably like one picture of me, early picture of Run DMC when we first came out. We had this Like That Suck MCs. The only record, we only had this Like That Suck MCs, and we did a show for Mr. Magic. Rest in peace. We did a show for Mr. Magic, and I remember I had on a Kango and Pumas. Run had on shell-toe Adidas. He had on some Lees, and he had on I think it was an El Paco sweater from back in the days. But in the early days, me and Run was all over the place, and Jay missed the first show that we had as a group. The second show, Jay wasn't about to miss that, but when we pulled up to pick Jay up, he came out in he had on white shell toe. He had on the white shell toes with the black stripes with no laces in them. He had the laces around his neck because he didn't want to get left, so he didn't take time to lace up the sneakers. So when we pulled up in front of his house and beeped the horn, he just threw the Adidas on, threw the laces around his neck. He had on black black Lee jeans, and he had on the black Adidas jacket with the white stripes, and he had on his Godfather hat. And when he walked out the house, that was the day me and Run looked at him and said, "Oh, Russell, we found our wardrobe," and it became the Adidas suit. And then the next show we come to pick Jay up, he had on a two-piece leather. He had the leather blazer on with the leather pants, and those two things became our outfits for history.
Wow.
Yeah. Iconic now with that, you know what I'm saying?
You would love to see that in the movie. Run DMC going to their first show all over the place in Bummy. Put Jay in the group. We pull up to the house, and he comes out, and on top of that, he had the big 4-speaker box in his hand. And when we saw that, we was like, oh, we found our look.
Yeah.
And it was a dope look, man. I remember taking my laces out of my shoes and having my grandmother think that was the stupidest shit ever.
Right, yeah.
That's when we knew we was doing something good for us as kids, because it wasn't nothing we was going to get in trouble about, but it was something that set us apart from our parents and our grandparents. It was like our own thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't nothing that would get you in trouble, but it was unique.
Yeah.
That's true, wow.
See, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I know you got other interviews and stuff, D, but before you go, can you give us a drop for our show?
Yeah, what do you want me to say?
All right. Well, the name of the show is the Murder Master Music Show on UGS Radio.
UGS Radio?
Yes.
And the Murder Master
Music Show.
Murder Master Music Show on UGS Radio. Okay, I'm ready. Ready?
Yes.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, DMC, in the place to be, the KING. And the only place for me to be is right here on the Music Master Radio Show on UGS, whatever it is that I forgot to say. I remembered it. What is it again?
It's the Murder Master Music Show on UGS Radio.
Murder Master Music Show on UGS Radio. Okay, ready. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's me, DMC, in the place to be, the KING, and the only place for me to be is right here on the Murder Master Music Show on UGS Radio, the place to be. You heard it from me.
Oh, man, thank you so much, D.
Yeah, that was dope.
And, anything we can do, we got a show. I mean, we've been getting a lot of hits online and stuff. Man, we're here anytime, brother, anytime.
Oh, cool. All right. Definitely when I get this single ready.
Tell them about the round table.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had we did a round table. We had Mr. Servon from No Limit, Spice One, Cocaine.
Oh, get out of here.
The Freeway Ricky Ross, the real Rick Ross. I mean, we had a whole bunch of people on at the same time. DJ Ready Red, man. Do you guys remember coming down to Houston? This is when the Ghetto Boys was, it was Raheem, I think, Ready Red, Sir Jukebox, and when Bushwick Bill was a dancer. They remember you, I think it was, what was it, Matt Club Rhinestone, he said?
Yeah, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, and they remember you, Jam Master Jay was on the turntable, and so was DJ Ready Red at that time. This is way back.
Really? Yeah.
87 or
wow,
something.
That's early.
Yeah, yeah. So we interview a lot of guys, man, and a lot of them give props to y'all, man. Keep doing what you're doing, D.
But thank you, man. Anything I can do for y'all, just reach out.
Hey, no doubt, man. You take care of yourself. Thanks again for this interview.
Yep, I'll speak to y'all again. What I was going to say is the new single's going to drop in about 2 months. It's me, Tom Morello, and Miles Kennedy, produced by John Moyer from The Rock and Disturbed. It's sick.
Oh,
Hey, make them debut it or something.
And give them, do me one more favor. Give everybody all your social media, too, so they can get at you for shows or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. My Twitter is at the King DMC, and my Instagram is King DMC. So the Twitter is at the King DMC. You could, find out everything going on there. And then my Instagram is King DMC. Follow me.
Most definitely. Hey, thanks again, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Anytime, man.